DFS, and I'm just going to take a quick look at the early MLB slate on DraftKings, and there's like a very early slate on FanDuel. Nothing too much. We'll probably come back later for the quote-unquote main slate that goes on tonight, but just wanted to give a little something on process and how we're doing things for this. We've got some of the lineups in, at least for the early games. You know, if you watch my content, you really see it's similar each time. I'm a kind of trust the process kind of guy. I mostly just use SaberSim and our projections to build lineups and run the sims. And I mostly trust them. I don't make too many changes, just a couple. So you'll get to see my process here. And, I'll talk a little bit about the teams and we'll go over like the weather and stuff like that. But for the most part, this is getting reps and learning the process. So we'll go over that, and then we'll try and add some color after we see who we get to. The one thing I want to do is I just don't see myself on a 7-game slate not playing 5-mans, at least in the big GPP. I'm probably going to play single entry. I tend to prefer single entry. Just it's more manageable, especially when there's this rain going on and stuff. And, I don't know. The rake's less, but the edge may be less. Who knows? But it's just kind of my game and what I've been doing, especially this season. But even in single entry, I probably just want to play 5-mans. I definitely do for the flagship. I'm going to build for the flagship because that's what most people ask about. Flagship today is I think it's like 25K to first for the early slate. So not as big as usual, but not bad. We'll take it. So so before we go ahead, I'm going to build lineups here. I do want some sort of minimum salary. There's been some debate on whether that's the right move or not. I talked about this with Sheets. We also talked about the stacking thing. If you go back and look last week, and you'll see that video. But I'm inclined to keep the min salary sort of high. I'm inclined to have it. Well, let's keep it at 4,700, especially on slates where there's some solid pitching. Hunter Brown looks pretty solid. And so, I don't know. It makes sense to get him in if you can. He projects 2 points higher than anyone else on the slate. So I don't know. I imagine if you don't have min salary, maybe you get less of the 10.9K pitcher. But okay, let's go ahead and switch it to Goldie's projections. And then build our lineups. Don't forget, guys, like and subscribe. Check out TrueDFS.com. If you think these tools are pretty cool, and I think they are, once you see the power of them and what we're going to do here, give it a try. There's still trials available, so you could give it a try. Or if you want to jump right in, the price is right. You get access to SaberSim, Goldie's projections, Sheets' projections, the pay dirt model that we're using for DFS and for betting, and the premium Discord, and really it's for all sports, all these projections and SaberSim and so on. So it's a great deal. And the price is only $20 more than you'd pay for SaberSim alone. So the price is right, and it just makes sense to get all that added stuff. So yeah, we're just about set with our lineup. So check that out in the meantime, guys. I really think it's worth it. So let's see. We got the Sims running. Let's see. Is this I don't know if this is 150 max. Oh yeah, it definitely is. And it's 50K to first. I was wrong. Good. More money up top. I won't complain. So let's see our Sims in 150 lineups, what we're getting to. Got some lineups coming in. So I'm sure we'll get some updates. Let's sort it by the simulated ROI. So if you're new to this, what the simulations are doing, they're saying, okay, you built these 5,000 lineups. Well, here's what we think those other, 11,000 lineups are going to be in this contest. And here's the stacks they're going to play, the pitchers in combination and so on, and the unstacked and the bad lineups, the good lineups. And if that were the field, how would these lineups do against them? What would their ROI be? How would they grade? So let's see in 150 what our exposures look like. I'm not going to look at like individual hitters, but I think it's interesting to look at the pitchers. Ober, about half. Browner, about half. Max Meyer. Boy, Meyer, 9,700 already. He's having quite the year. A little bit of everyone. So I might make a couple manual changes to this. Let's just go first look at the stacks and what we're getting. So let's see our 5-mans. We're really spread out. I like that. Colorado, leverage is key in baseball. I'm inclined to keep it. In Cleveland, I'm a little more comfortable with that. In Toronto, they don't have a great total, but you can hit Gausman. You can run on Gausman. So that's fine. We'll take some Cleveland here. The Mets and St. Louis. Now, this is a weather game. If we take a look at what Ross said, he's got it at orange. So we really need to be careful here. We want to monitor all of these, but really we should be careful with St. Louis here. It says woof. So buyer beware on the Mets. As of now, I'm saying no Mets. And I'm saying, we only X'd them out. So actually, we want to take the Mets out of all stacks, really. In fact, I'd rather have 5-man Mets than 2 and 3-man. And then, okay, let's see what else we're getting. I was going to say, I'm glad we're not getting to much Pittsburgh. Just one 5-man. One of the things about Pittsburgh, they're a pretty good hitting team. They've got a good total here. It's not like the greatest park for home runs, though. So how they're going to score may not be the best for DFS. The other thing that I don't think the projections account for real well is the run game. Now, Pittsburgh can run, and they will run, but San Diego is like the best team at stopping the running game. They've really put a lot of emphasis on that this year. Been looking at some of the advanced metrics and how they've been doing that, and I don't think that's really baked in. So San Diego's been running and been stopping the run game. So I'm okay not getting to much Pittsburgh, but I did want to call that out. Now, did we get any St. Louis? Because we probably want to say no thanks on that game. So last thing we want to do is I don't want these pitchers. I like McGill. I think his stuff has really improved. I don't think the market is accounting for that. His velo is up. His stuff plus is way up. On a normal day, I would play McGill here, but I'm really worried about that game right now. Things can change as we get closer to lock. It's pretty early. Let's see if we got, we have one-offs from that game. There's no way, if I'm playing anything from that game, it's full stacks. I don't want the one-offs at all. So let's just get rid of everyone from there and see what our exposures look like after that. Why isn't this zero? There we go. Okay. Take a look how this changed things. Now Hunter Brown is our top guy. But he's right in line with Ober. Ober's a good pitcher. Boston's a tough spot to pitch in. And Ober does give up hard power. So you gotta look out for that. When Ober does get hit, it tends to be barreled, tends to be hit pretty hard. Let's see what the weather's like in Boston. There's weather everywhere, but nothing like the St. Louis thing. I would monitor this. If it looks like you're gonna get full starts in the game and closer to lock, you could get this at really low ownership, but be careful. Probably only in stacks. Now, we've got some Jordan Hicks. I like that. He's got a lot of potential. Gausman certainly has potential. Cleveland used to not strike out as much, but they have been this season. And then there's these lower pitchers we're not getting to much of. Gavin Williams, I think, is a guy with potential. So I wouldn't mind if I got to more of him, but I'm going to keep these as is. And then let's take a look now at what our 5-mans look like. Well, Colorado, I don't know if I want this much Colorado. Let's say we just cap it. Just take a few of these out here. The nice thing about that, though, is we could always late swap. I mean, if our lineups are doing well and the pitching is going well in the early stuff, we could always swap it out. So that side of it I do like with playing Colorado. But, okay, now we have more Cleveland, Colorado, Oakland. In Miami, I like that. I mean, Miami is playing better than I think the team really is. Meyer has been really good, but if they can get to him, you get into a pretty weak bullpen. So I'm pretty happy with what we got here in 150. A little smattering of everyone else. Not a lot of Houston. You know, they're going to look good against the White Sox. The White Sox are just absolutely terrible. The weather is not great in Chicago, though. I'm in Chicago now. It's like upper 40 degrees. So that is something to think about. It's normally a pretty good hitter's park when the weather gets warmer, but it's not great right now. But it is the White Sox, so keep that in mind. So there you have it. We're playing Hunter Brown and Bailey Ober in half the lineups. They're most exposed pitchers. Our top stacks are Colorado, followed by Cleveland. Then I think we've got Oakland in there. And that's who I like for the flagship on DraftKings if things were to go right now. Now, of course, things will get closer to lock and the projections will sharpen and we'll see how things change. More lineups will come out, so on and so forth. But okay, now people always ask, can you cover FanDuel? Yes, of course I can cover FanDuel, and I will. They've got this very early slate going. So let's see. I don't know. Min salary on this, I think we could just get rid of in a 3-game slate. One of the things SaberSim will do sometimes is they'll start giving you relief pitchers if they run out of options. So I'm going to take off all these silly stacks. I'll maybe keep in some of the 3s that have correlation just because it's a 3-game slate. I'm not going to demand anything else. Now, one of the things when it doesn't have as many stacks, it starts like saying, oh, you could play some Brian King. You could play some Fernando Cruz. It gets really weird like that. So sometimes I put a filter in, like, so I want players with projection, you know, greater than 6 or something. I think that takes care of that. And then we don't get any of that nutty stuff. You know, the point up, we still have relievers with really high projections. Very odd. Oh, you know, we didn't switch to Goldies though. So let's do that too. Okay. Greater than 9. There. Get all that nonsense out of there. Now, is Yarbrough stretched out? Do they have his pitch count here? They're expecting 56 pitches from Yarbrough, and he still projects for 14 fantasy points. I mean, I don't know. Tough to get the quality start or even the win. He could pitch way less than that. I mean, I don't. Is Ryan Yarbrough game log? What if he pitched? It's been a while. He threw 53 pitches. Okay. So he's not stretched out by any means, but he could easily hit 56 pitches. But we'll see if they do that. Right? Their bullpen's pretty well rested right now. They used only the back end of it last night in the 3-0 win. They have Devin Williams and Weaver, but everyone else is available. So I don't know. I don't know about this Yarbrough thing. I might X that, although it's a small slate, but it's a one-pitcher site. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, we've got the weather game in St. Louis to watch out for, too. So what does Roth say about Chicago? Chicago's green. Yeah, it feels green. It's nice and sunny out right now. So, okay. Let us switch to Goldie's stuff. Yeah, there. And then we get Yarbrough gone anyway, and we don't have to worry about it. Good. That makes me happy. Discord. People are talking about the Derby in Discord. I know nothing. But if you are going to bet the Derby, I recommend checking out our channel after you like and subscribe, of course. And Sheets put up like a 20-minute video going through bets for the Kentucky Derby. So if you're looking for some action, Sheets has a really strong edge in horse betting. I know he either used to run a syndicate or still does run a syndicate. So really sharp. I mean, Sheets is just the sharpest can be anyway, but really sharp in horse betting, which a lot of people don't probably think about. So yeah, check that out. And of course, if you get a premium subscription, you could come find out see all the chatter in Discord. Come join us. So, okay. How many lineups would we build for this? Okay, Jordan, thanks for the walkthrough. Okay, 79. Okay, so let's see in 79 lineups where we're getting 2 on FanDuel for the very early slates. Jordan in spades, 75% Jordan. Wow. Stacks. Look at all the Houston. And then, I mean, imagine what we would get if we X'd out St. Louis and the Mets, right? Which we might need to do. You got to pay attention to this. So, boy, you X out. I mean, let's just see what happens if we say we're not playing that game. Now we got a 2-game slate. Pitching, who did we have? Fetty. We didn't have any McGill. Okay, so we're going to say sorry to Eric Fetty. We're going to say no McGill. He pops up after Fetty. No, thank you. We're going to take out those batters. I mean, now we're just going to be, I imagine, locked on Houston. I don't know why this sorts this way. I do not like that. No, thank you. Okay. So we take all these guys to 0. Let's see how we look on FanDuel. You know, one of the nice things about playing so much Houston is that if the Yankees or the Rays go off, or we have like, I think it's Clark Schmidt or Zach Littell, and they get hit hard, we just switch all that Houston to the lowest owned team on the slate, Chicago, in our late swaps. So that is one of the beauties of that, is you get more information. These guys pop up. We got to X them. I mean, it's much easier to X this game before you build. We should have done that, but we didn't. But okay, let's see. So now our highest owned pitcher, Hunter Brown, by a mile, followed by Littell and a little Davis Martin. Okay, just a little. Our stacks. Okay. All the Houston, not much Chicago, Tampa, New York. So, okay, so we're going to play all this Houston. I'm going to just say I'm okay with it, because depending on how the early games go for that first hour, I'm going to get more information. And when I get more information, I'm going to say, okay, 40% of that Houston changes to the White Sox. Now, we don't have live ownership because it's FanDuel, right? We can't download the CSVs, but we will have live projections, and we will see to some degree where we stand. So I'm gonna take this. We essentially made it a 2-game slate with this weather game. So I'm gonna take it and run with it. That's how I'm playing over on FanDuel for those that asked to run there. And yeah, that's about all I got. Remember, if you like this process, if you think this process is interesting, if there's more you want to learn, like, subscribe, come join us in Discord, check out TrueDFS.com. The website is undergoing renovation, so you may see that it's a little tricky to navigate, but don't worry, it's going to all be consolidated and made more efficient soon. And check out a trial. You know, it's a great time. The trials have been reset. So if you've tried it before, you can come back and try it again. The packages, the price is right. It's $20 more than you'd pay for SaberSim alone, but you get Goldie's projections, like what we use. You get Sheets' projections. You get access to the premium Discord, the pay dirt model for betting, the pay dirt model for DFS, right? We've done a lot of cool things with the betting there, especially in the hockey side. It's returned on the NHL prop bets like a 5% ROI this year. Really happy with that. So come check us out. And with that, I wish you good luck. Remember to monitor the weather and enjoy today's early slate.